Donald Trump is not a president. Donald Trump is the Führer. He has complete and total authority. There is no more checks and balances. There is nothing standing in the way of Donald Trump doing whatever the fuck he wants. And you don't need to take it from me. You could take it from Herr Goebbels himself. You could take it from Stephen Miller, who accidentally said the quiet part out loud. He accidentally said that Donald Trump has plenary authority, which means that he quite literally can do anything he wants. He has complete authority. There is no rules and regulations that are in place to stop him or check him. But yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm losing frames during this because I got so many tabs open, and we're gonna go through them together. Thank you for tuning into the Valenti VOD. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. Also remember, this is real independent media. I have no funding. I've never had a conversation with an advertiser or a billionaire or a government. So if you do want to help fund this channel, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can buy merch like the Democratic Socialist poster or the Constitusi mug. You can hit the thanks button down below to donate to the channel. You can click the join button down below to become a member and get access to some member-only content. You can become a patron on Patreon and get access to the Patreon-only content. And you could use the 40% off discount code for Ground News located in the description below. But without further ado, let's dive into some of this fucking nightmare news. And the first thing I'm going to show you is a clip of Stephen Miller accidentally saying the quiet part out loud and then freezing on CNN because the earpiece that is connected to his White House handler told him to shut the ever-loving fuck up. Watch this.
You've called the district judge's ruling blocking the deployment of National Guard in Oregon legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen? Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me? It seemed, Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical issue.
Let's watch that one more time, the part where he freezes. Listen, just watch.
Under the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen?
He was told to shut up, okay? Now, why was he told to shut up? Because of this. Plenary power, or plenary authority, is a complete and absolute power to take action on a particular issue with no limitations, okay? So, to say that the President of the United States, or to say that any individual has plenary authority, and to not follow it up with like, well, the DOJ has plenary authority over the justice system, to just say that President Trump has plenary authority is to say he has dictatorial power. There's a couple of people who have plenary authority on planet Earth. It's Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping. They have plenary authority in their respective nations. There is literally no rules or regulations or laws that can limit their power. They are godmen in their nations. Stephen Miller just said out loud and was halted by his handler that President Trump is a dictator and you can't stop him. That is what you just watched, okay? Now, this comes as we've been talking about for the past couple of days. The Trump regime is preparing to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807 so that they can overrule posse comitatus. The whole plan is to allow the military to invade the United States of America and then practice law enforcement. Now, the thing is, the military is not trained in law enforcement. There is military police, but that's not the overwhelming majority of our military. Our military is trained to kill. Our military is trained to fight, right? They're not trained to do traffic stops or to do investigations or to read you your Miranda rights. You know what I mean? That's not what the military is trained to do. And that's not what they want to do. If the military wanted to do that, they would have signed up for the fucking police force. But no, they signed up for the military. They're completely fucking different things. But what we are about to witness is the cruelty that the American military does overseas is about to be enacted and committed on U.S. soil. Okay, the cruelty is making its way home. This is like the cycle of American imperialism, is that what you end up doing internationally eventually makes its way home. That has happened throughout all of history. Okay, like my example I'll give you is Nazi Germany. The beginning camps, the initial camps, they were in Poland. They weren't putting people in camps in Germany. They didn't want the Germans to see it. But as they started to lose territory, as the Allies started to move in, more and more of those camps were put up in Germany. When that cruelty made it to the average German, that was when things started to fall apart. But yeah, so Stephen Miller just said that that President Trump has plenary authority, which is, okay, so he's the Fuhrer. So he's the Fuhrer, is what you're saying. Mind you, Stephen Miller is like a 4'10" bald Jewish Nazi who advocated for torture since the time he was 17, in which he was already bald. I could show you that if you want to see. Give me a second. Let me pull it up for you. Maybe some of you haven't seen this, but Stephen Miller, when he was like 17, was on the back of a bus talking about why torture is so good. Let's see. Stephen Miller, pro-torture. Probably find it. Well, that's his head looking like a penis. That's crazy.
To the issue of the Iraqi civilians.
He's already bald, and look at that fucking hairline, bro. Yo, just so you know, if you're 17 years old and you have a hairline like this, you might as well just shave your fucking head. Own it.
I think that as many of them should survive as possible, because the goal of any military conflict is to kill as few people as possible. But as for Saddam Hussein and his henchmen...
Also, he sounds drunk in this, right?
I think the ideal solution would be to cut off their fingers. I don't think it's necessary to kill them entirely. We're not a barbaric people. We respect life. Therefore, torture is the way to go. Because torture people can live. Torture is a celebration of life and human dignity. We need to remember that as we enter these very dark and dangerous times in the next century. And I only hope that many of my peers and people who will be leading this country will appreciate the value and respect that torture shows towards other cultures.
Just so you know, this fucking loser was, he was, like, disowned by his family. His fucking cousin wrote this scathing article calling him the literal face of evil. I want you to imagine that for a second. Think of your favorite cousin, and imagine your cousin writing an article that is blasted out saying that you are the literal face of evil and that they completely disavowed you from the family.
I was talking to my doctor the other day, and I said to him, well, you know, I'm 17, I'm pretty sexy.
No, you're not. Brother, you are one of the most hideous men in this nation. That is why the incels love you. You perfectly represent. Also, you're a cuck. Elon Musk fucks your wife, your slut pig wife, while you sit on the cuck chair and watch. We all know that Elon Musk fucked your wife, bro.
Everything's going the way I want it to. No, I play good tennis. But something's just not going right.
I'll believe that. I firmly believe this motherfucker plays good tennis. Look how white he is.
Hair is just receding. I look like I'm 35.
Oh, he knows his hair's receding. He knew.
And a balding 35-year-old at that. Thank you, Jonas. And he said, well, how much sleep are you getting? And I said, excuse me, what's sleep? Apparently, you're supposed to go to bed at nighttime. Usually, I sit in my room like this. Ha! 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 Ha!
What the fuck? Yeah, so, that is our new, head of propaganda. That's our new propaganda minister. Give me back my frames immediately. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna move on to, little fucking gay boy Benny Johnson. And before you try to cancel me, there's nothing wrong with being gay. There is everything wrong with Benny Johnson being gay while advocating to destroy the right for gay people to get married. If you don't know who Benny Johnson is, he's this like fucking right-wing hack closeted homosexual who posted gay porn on his Twitter account and then said, "Why am I getting ads for gay porn?" They're selective ads, you stupid fuck. But yeah, this is a stupid fucking gay boy who just posted this video. And what's more important about this video, it's a video of evil, hideous, pig slut cunt Kristi Noem standing on the rooftop of an ICE building overlooking the, quote, army of Antifa And it's literally like 11 lesbians and a guy dressed up in a chicken costume. Check this shit out. I already replied to it. I said, hey, gay boy, why are you scared of 60-year-old white women in a chicken costume, you pathetic fuck toy? You know, look at this. You ready? Look, by the way, I mean, isn't this, like, horrifying, man? I mean, look at the danger that they're in on that fucking rooftop, bro. I mean, dude, I'm shaking. Is this real? I'm shaking right now. She's facing off with the army. Let me see the Antifa army. Oh. Oh. That's the Antifa army. Huh. Oh my fucking god! Oh my god, look at these domestic terrorists! Look at how scary these fucking domestic terrorists is! Oh my god, you're gonna throw them in a fucking concentration camp! You're gonna throw them in a fucking concentration camp! Throw them in a fucking concentration camp! You gotta round them up! You gotta throw them in a concentration camp! You gotta round them up! You gotta round them up! You gotta throw them in a concentration camp! Dude, he's playing the... Yeah, guys, trigger warning. Immense violence.
So is it typical that you have this many people?
Yes. That crowd would be here right about this time. Yeah. And now the PD, they'd be right in front of the building. But now the PD's got them.
Fucking Colonel Lockjaw over there on the right. If you get that joke, then you saw one battle after another. Goated movie. Oh, look at her. Look at that. Must be Hamas. That must be Hamas.
Secretary, do you have a message to the
Yeah, go ahead. Ask her a question, gay boy.
protesters, especially the man in the chicken outfit?
Man in the chicken outfit, I just see him now. Goodness sakes.
Dude, she seems disappointed and upset. She seems like, I thought there would be more. I thought that this would be a really good propaganda piece. Look up her watch. I'm sure that watch costs more than anything I've ever owned.
We could do better. Our goal is that people would peacefully protest.
Oh, yeah, because it's just so rowdy. It's not peaceful. Your goal, you wish that people would yeah, no, that guy's absolutely a threat. He ought to be sniped! Like, that's a joke, by the way, but...
The goal is that people would peacefully protest, but that we would still be allowed to enforce the law in this country. So, it's too bad they're uneducated and ill-informed.
Sweetheart. Plastic-faced, fascist Barbie, brunette Eva Braun horse cunt. You don't get to use the word uneducated. Do you not know who your voting bloc is? Tread all over me. College is for libtards. Bro, you do not get to insult you can't use that word. You can't use that word. That's our word, bro. Your voting bloc consists of the least educated, toothless hicks of the United States of America.
Good. It's good to see. We'll see what we can do to give you guys a little more security.
This is absolutely nothing as to what it is at night, though.
It is absolutely nothing as to what it is at night, though. You should see it. At night, the blood-fucking vampires come out. At night, the vampires come out, and for some reason, they always fuck me in my tight little pussy. I don't know what it is. Antifa keeps on fucking me. I go to a public bathroom, and then somebody taps my foot from underneath the stall. Next thing I know, I'm getting fucked up the ass. I don't know what's happening, man. Shut the fuck up, Betty. You closet case piece of shit. All right, let's move on. Hundreds of U.S. National Guard troops arrive in Chicago. Ooh. But these aren't Chicago National Guard troops. These are National Guard troops from Texas being deployed in Chicago. And this is what I said a million times before. I said, what you're going to end up seeing, the quote-unquote civil war, it's not going to be civilians versus the military. It's going to be the military versus the military. It's going to be National Guard versus Army. It's going to be National Guard versus National Guard. It's going to be ICE versus police. That is the stepping stone into the the Insurrection Act of 1807. One shot needs to be fired in order for this to happen. And it will either happen from a trigger-happy soldier, from an angry protester, or from a CIA-planted, quote-unquote, protester. That's the most likely explanation of what will happen. I'll tell you this much. If shit ever kicks off and people start dying because a shot was fired and we don't know who fired the shot, that's government orchestrated. Mark my fucking words. Anyway. Hundreds of National Guard troops from Texas have arrived at an Army training center outside Chicago to support U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. Trump has branded Chicago as a war zone following recent protests against federal immigration officials in the third largest U.S. city. Now, remember, what I just showed you, that was the war zone. Like, to the point where Benny Johnson literally said, Kristi Noem is facing down with the Antifa army. That, and also, like, I just want to cover this super quick. Antifa is not a group. You can't be a member of Antifa. They don't have a registration process. Having anti-fascist beliefs is your right, and to be frank, it is your duty. If you are not anti-fascist, you are fascist. There's no middle ground where you're like, I think we could come to an agreement where we only round up the kind of brown people, but the black people get to live. That's still fascism, you dumb motherfuckers? We have flags and carry cards? No, you don't. Antifa is not an organization, it is a movement. There's no dude, you might have made yourself an Antifa card, but it's not the fucking DSA. I'm in the DSA. You get a card when you sign up for the DSA. It doesn't exist for Antifa. Why are you lying? Anyway, let's keep reading. The deployment comes amid opposition from local officials. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has accused the Trump regime of a, quote, authoritarian march and said the state would, quote, use every lever at our disposal to stop this power grab. Sources told CBS News, the BBC's U.S. partner, that some troops could begin their assignments as early as Wednesday. CBS also reported that trailers have been set up as a temporary living quarter in the Army Reserve Training Center. You know what's hilarious about all this, by the way? They're not getting paid. At all. Not a single National Guard soldier is getting paid right now. Not a single Marine is getting paid. Not a single U.S. Army soldier is getting paid. You know who is getting paid? ICE. You know who is getting paid? Israel. You know who is getting paid? Congress. But not you, GI. Nah, go fuck yourself. Meanwhile, we also covered yesterday that the White House came out and said that they are not obligated to provide back pay to anybody. So, you're fucked, federal worker. $50 donation. I will say supporting. I hope things swing back from the Nazis back to us. If it doesn't, I hope this country knows that though I wasn't born here, I will fight for this. I love this country and I love democracy. Fascists will not win. Hell fucking yeah, brother.
Una mattina mi sono alzato, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato invasor.
Nah, fuck a fash. Right in his fascist pussy. Let's keep reading. Fencing was also put up around the training facility late on Tuesday. Local officials have said that they have received few details on the troop assignments. Trump argues that the use of troops is necessary to quell violence in Democrat-controlled cities, crack down on crime, and support his deportation initiatives. National Guard troops have limited power. They do not enforce the law until the Insurrection Act is invoked. or make arrests, seizures, or searches. Their role is instead about protecting federal officers and properties. All right, so, I mean, listen, we've talked about this a million times. Donald Trump is invading the United States of America. Any soldiers who follow through with these orders are traitors, and they need to be held in a tribunal. If you're in the military and you are watching this, listen, I know you signed up for one reason, but you are about to be used for another. If you are given an illegal order and you follow that order, you will be held responsible. You are actually contractually obligated to refuse illegal orders. Just because you're too stupid to know that the order is illegal will not excuse you from being tried in a fucking court, okay? Ignorance of the law is not an excuse of the law. If you follow through with an illegal order, just know we will find you and you will be tried one day. You will not be thanked for your service. You will be shamed for it. Anyway, let's keep reading. White House draws out mass federal firings timeline as the GOP grows squeamish in the funding fight. The Trump regime's strategy to swiftly roll out mass layoffs of federal workers during the government shutdown has shifted in recent days. Regime officials familiar with the talks told CNN as an increasing number of Republican lawmakers and Trump regime officials acknowledged the potential political perils of the move. With Democrats having shown no signs of budging in their opposition to a stopgap funding measure that doesn't address their health care demands, and a growing number of Republican lawmakers warning about potential blowback, the White House is now planning to hold off at least a little longer on sending out notices of reductions in force, despite hoping the threat will still motivate Democrats. So it's funny because Trump owns the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch. They own everything, and they're trying to put the blame on Democrats. And now they're saying, if you don't open up the government, I'm going to fire everybody. Democrats don't have the power to open up the government. You do, Donald. You have that power. So if you fire these people, it is your decision. You need to be actually brain dead to think that anyone other than the President of the United States could be blamed. To the point where I believe even you said that yourself, Donald. Let me try to pull up this clip. Donald said a long time ago that he would blame any government shutdown on the president. Donald Trump says government shutdowns are the president's fault. He said this a while ago. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this clip for you. I did.
You know, I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed. If there is a shutdown, and it's not going to be a horrible shutdown because, as you know, things will sort of keep
Well, there's a partial shutdown.
This is old.
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States.
You're right. You are right. And you're the president of the United States. And it's your fault. And you're a morbidly obese fascist orange monster. And your fat cankles spill out of your socks. And your hands are blue because you get constant intravenous. And you've been hiding the fact that you're having multiple mini strokes. And your slut Slovenian whore of a wife is probably fucking Gavin Newsom. And your brother's dead. Haha. Fuck you. Let's move on. You guys want to see a video of Mike Johnson saying that Trump is having fun with the government shutdown? Because I do.
Trolling the Democrats? Yes. I mean, yes, because that's what President... Is he trolling the Democrats? Yes. I mean, yes, because that's what President Trump does, and people are having fun with this. But at the end of the day...
People are having fun with this. Hey, all 750,000 of you federal workers. Trump is having fun with this, man. I know you're working for free with the promise that you're going to get back pay, even though the White House came out and said that they're not obligated to give any of you back pay. And we're talking about Donald Trump, who famously never paid his workers during his initial rise as a real estate agent, real estate mogul. Like, literally, famously, didn't pay contractors, didn't pay artists to paint his ceiling. Like, this is what he does. He gets free labor out of people. And he's milking you for your free labor. And you're probably going to keep on working, aren't you? There needs to be a day where you realize, okay, they're milking me for free labor. A month and a half, who knows? But there needs to be a day where you realize I'm not going to be a slave any longer. Let's watch this again from the top.
Is he trolling the Democrats? Yes. I mean, yes, because that's what President Trump does, and people are having fun with this. But at the end of the day, the decisions are tough ones. And I've met with him.
How short is this motherfucker, or how tall is this motherfucker, or is this downhill sloped? Because based on what I'm seeing, this guy's what, 6'5", and this guy's what, 5'0"?
Talked yesterday at length with Russ Vought.
Oh, also, this guy's gay as shit. This guy fucking throws his fat fucking ass back like he's Nicki Minaj. This guy also has an app on his phone and his son's phone so they can monitor each other's porn consumption. This guy's Grindr account is being threatened to be leaked. This guy actually is a power bottom. Mike Johnson loves dick.
Vogt, who's the director of the Office of Management and Budget. Russ takes no pleasure in this. Russ wants to see a smaller, more efficient, more lean, effective federal government as we do.
No, you don't. You don't want a smaller government. You want a Republican-controlled government. You don't give a fuck about the size of the government. That's why you advocate for the Palantir super surveillance state.
But he doesn't want people to lose jobs. He doesn't want to do that. But he has, that's his responsibility. So he's very carefully, methodically, very deliberately looking through that to see which decisions can be made in the best interest of the American people. That's his obligation. And
is it in the best interest of the American people to cut the health care benefits for 60 million Americans? And dude, you want to know the funniest part? Hey, let me ask you something. Do you think Americans get free health care? They don't. They don't. So then, when you, dumb fuck, say, the Democrats, they want to give $1.5 trillion of free health care to illegal aliens. What? Huh? I've got a social security number. I don't get free health care benefits. You're telling me the illegal immigrant who can't get benefits gets free ones? Oh, you're dumber than a rock. You're so fucking dumb. Shut your mouth for the rest of time. Please stop speaking. Like, actually, though, you gotta be so fucking stupid.
That's his real desire. The president takes no pleasure in this. But if Chuck Schumer is going to give Donald Trump the opportunity to determine what the priorities are, he's going to exercise that opportunity, and that's where we are.
Yeah, so now they're literally just memeing on us. They're flexing on us. Check this out. Donald Trump, blatant fascism here. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. Like, I don't even know what to say about that because that's just blatant fascism, threatening to throw your political opponents in jail. J.B. Pritzker's planning on running for president as well. That's fascism. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Threatening to throw your fucking political opponents in jail, especially for no crimes. I know that Republican toothless hicks like to go, you threatened to throw President Trump in jail, you indicted him on multiple... Yeah, that's because he's a criminal. That's because he's a criminal. What J.B. Pritzker did was legal. Telling his police officers to not assist with ICE. He filed a legal restraining order. That was legal, you stupid fuck. Anyway, let's move on to this. Talking about Venezuela now. So for all the MAGA voters in the military, get ready to go fight and die in Venezuela, GI. Trump calls off diplomatic outreach to Venezuela. The move paves way for a possible military escalation. We've already had a military escalation. President Trump has called off efforts to reach a diplomatic agreement with Venezuela, according to U.S. officials, paving the way for a potential military escalation against drug traffickers. Excuse me. Whoa. Richard Grenell, a special presidential envoy and executive director of the Kennedy Center, had been leading negotiations with Mr. Maduro and other top Venezuelan officials, but during a meeting with senior military leaders on Thursday, Mr. Trump called Mr. Grenell and instructed him that all diplomatic outreach, including his talks with Mr. Maduro, was to stop, the official said on Monday. Mr. Trump has grown frustrated with Mr. Maduro's failure to accede to American demands and give up power voluntarily, and the continued insistence by Venezuelan officials that they have no part in drug trafficking. So, voluntarily demands to give up power. So the Trump regime is just admitting that our only interest in Venezuela is regime change. This is because Venezuela has the most oil in all of South America, not to mention the very high quantity of gold. But, yeah, military member, you're about to go fight and die in Venezuela to farm oil for ExxonMobil. Welcome back to 2002, GI. Have fun. We'll be here. American officials have said that the Trump regime has drawn up multiple military plans for an escalation. Those operations could also include plans designed to force Mr. Maduro from power. Marco Rubio, professional cuck for Israel and Secretary of State, has called Mr. Maduro an illegitimate leader and repeatedly cited a U.S. indictment of him on drug trafficking charges. One of the funniest things about that is that the United States does more drug trafficking than any nation on earth. Like, how do you think the CIA got their funding in the early 2000s? It was by bringing opium over from Afghanistan into the United States of America. What do you think the war on drugs was? That was the CIA bringing in cocaine and other drugs from South America and then purposefully distributing it to like low-income areas and black and brown populations. Like, the United States of America, specifically the CIA, is the world's largest drug trafficker. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is literally what we do. We did the same fucking thing in Laos during our secret war in Laos during the Vietnam War. If you don't know this, we waged a secret war in Laos, during the Vietnam War. You should look it up. I'm not kidding. It's a secret war to the point where the CIA was using B-52 bombers, and it was called Operation Rolling Thunder. They painted the bombers white to look like, civilian airliners, and then flew them over Laos and dropped more bombs on Laos than we dropped in the entirety of World War II. All because we wanted to harvest their fucking drugs. This is all real. This is all real. I mean, fuck, dude. Once you wake up, smell the roses, and realize that the United States of America is the most evil nation in human history, things start to make a lot more fucking sense. We are the evil empire. Now, as you know, Donald Trump thought that he came up with a peace deal because he's a stupid fucking idiot, and he got played by Benjamin Netanyahu because Benjamin Netanyahu has videos of Trump fucking children. So we had this fucking peace deal go out, and Trump is like, oh, starting tonight, there's gonna be peace. I'm bringing peace to the Middle East. And then 6 hours later, Israel killed 70 fucking people. Dude, Netanyahu went home. He said he's in the U.S. and he says in English, he goes, we're gonna stop the war. There's gonna be no more killing. And then he goes home and he speaks in Hebrew, and he's like, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, and he quite literally says, we got Donald. He's so fucking stupid. We're just gonna keep on bombing them. Oh. So let's just talk about this real quick because I want to show you the gamble that Hamas is taking. Israel pounds Gaza, killing 70, despite Trump's call for it to halt bombing. Israeli attacks across the besieged Gaza Strip have killed at least 70 Palestinians, medical sources said, despite calls from United States President Donald Trump for Israel to stop its bombardment after Hamas said it has accepted some elements of Trump's 20-point plan to end Israel's war. At least 45 of the victims killed in bombardments and airstrikes on Saturday were in the famine-struck Gaza City, where the Israeli army has been pressing an offensive in recent weeks, forcing some 1 million residents to flee the overcrowded south. So instantly Israel and I told you this a million times, guys. I said you need to be actually brain dead if you think that Israel will accept any peace deal that does not include the total extermination of Hamas. They want every last surviving member of Hamas to be handed over on a silver platter so Israel can torture and then summarily execute them. That is unironically the only deal that Israel will ever accept. And Hamas would have to be fucking stupid to accept that. But what Hamas did was kind of genius. They sent this letter to the United States, right? And it's long. It's a long letter, but what's important is this bold part. That's why they put it in bold. So it says this. We declare our acceptance to release all the occupation war prisoners, both living and dead, within the framework of the exchange formula presented in the President Trump's proposal, provided that appropriate field conditions are secured for the implementation of the exchange process. In this regard, we affirm our readiness to immediately engage through the mediators in negotiations to discuss the details of this process. So Hamas takes a gamble. They send a no, all caps, bold letter, we agree. They did this because they're not stupid and they know that Israel is still going to bomb the Hamas negotiators in Cairo. I think they're meeting in Cairo, Egypt. Mark my words, Israel will bomb Cairo because Hamas is there. And then the world will see as Netanyahu and Trump try to spin it and say that it was Hamas's fault. This is why they sent the letter. So everybody could see this and go, okay, so Hamas is ready for a peace deal. If anything goes awry, it is Israel's fault. Okay? Period. Full stop. Now, last thing I want to show you is this. Gaza ceasefire talks intensify as key Trump advisors join the negotiations. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, and Israel's chief negotiator Ron Dermer are taking part in an expanded meeting in Egypt today to end the war in Gaza. Israel could do the funniest thing of all time right now. They could do the funniest fucking thing of all time. These negotiations are taking place to finalize a deal based on Trump's Gaza ceasefire proposal. Hamas and Israel have already exchanged a list of hostages and prisoners to be released as part of a deal, according to a Hamas official. Meanwhile, Israel has intercepted another fleet of Gaza-bound aid ships carrying journalists, activists, and medical professionals, according to the organizers. So there was like a second Samud flotilla, and they were all arrested by the fascist apartheid dogman regime of Israel. I know this is a pretty long one, but that's all I got for you today. I know there's going to be more news as time goes on, but yeah, no, nightmare, horrifying nightmare shit. But there always going to be hope. I need you to understand that you are not the first generation to think that you are living through the end times. In fact, every generation throughout human history thought that they were going to be the last one. I'm sure that the 17-year-olds living in a fucking foxhole in the Battle of the Bulge thought, this is it, right? We're never coming back from this. I'm sure that every 15-year-old sitting in the trenches in the Battle of the Somme said, this is it, right? We're never coming back from this. I'm sure every fucking medieval peasant living through the Black Plague said, this is it, right? We're never coming back from this. And guess what? We came back. You are the result of like 4,000 plus badass motherfuckers who survived every single historical event you have ever imagined. The fact that you exist means that you had a relative who survived every single historical event that has ever fucking happened. Maybe they weren't there for it. Maybe they were in a different part of the world, but they were alive when it happened and they survived and they procreated, and now you are a result of fucking thousands of years of human DNA, and now it's your turn to carry the fucking torch. Hold it high, be proud, never stop fucking screaming. Thank you for tuning into the Valenti VOD. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, helps me immensely. Donate to the channel. Every last dollar goes a long way. Thank you for 112,000 subscribers. I love you all. Do me one last favor. Click that video over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers.